Today's farm, ranch, or food processing business is not the same as your grandfather's, or even the one your father operated. In fact, if you started your business more than just a few years ago, it's not the same as when you started. And there are no signs that the future will be less complicated. Today's complications in business processing, new operational systems, labor force factors, and increasing regulations heighten the risk your business faces. This will require that you have key players on your team. You need professionals that can help you reach your company's goals. Please consider Washington Farm Bureau's retro safety staff as one of those team members. The Washington Farm Bureau is the largest agricultural organization in Washington State that advocates for its members' needs and interests. It has the power and the knowledgeable experts in all facets of agricultural management to successfully minimize and control your risk. The Washington Farm Bureau staff have decades of professional experience working with employers to implement safety programs, accident prevention techniques, claims handling, educational programs, and inspections that have returned millions of dollars in refunds to its partners. But above all, it has supported employers in keeping their workers safe. Patrick Batts is the Chief Executive Officer of the Washington Farm Bureau.
Retro programs are pretty unique, and with them we're able to do safety and claims management and work with our members to get them back into light-duty jobs. And all of that cuts costs, and farmers are very sincere about having a safe workplace. We work with some very dangerous equipment, and they know that it's necessary to be able to provide that kind of protection to their employees, and to make sure if they're injured, that they get the health care that they need and get back on the job.
Listen to what fellow Washington State business owners and operators just like you say how they were helped and protected because they were members of the Washington Farm Bureau, and especially its retro program. Bluebird is a grower-owned co-op representing about 225 growers. They employ approximately 275 workers in their 2 warehouses and another 300 people seasonally in their company-owned orchard. They serve a full line of conventional as well as organic fruits, and they market their fruit worldwide. Bruce Parkins is operations manager for their facilities in Peshastin and Wenatchee.
They've been proactive about things. They're here when we call them. If we have an accident, we can give them a call, and they're here to work through the issue with us. They're also here before an accident, which is the biggest thing we want. And the cost savings that we have as a company is huge if we can prevent accidents. Most of the biggest worry we have here is for safety concerns of our people. Retro has done a lot of stuff for us. Every year we bring them in to go through our facility to do a mock safety program with us. That allows us to find things out ahead of time before we have our L&I claims.
The Director of Field Services for Bluebird is John Folden.
Oh, if it weren't for the retro safety program through the Farm Bureau and the Farm Bureau themselves, it would put a lot of extra hours upon myself and my staff going out and making sure not only that the equipment is safe, but that it's being used properly and all the safe things that we need to do to make sure we get through our day without being hurt.
Rachel Messina Darlington is the Director of Human Resources for Bluebird.
Well, with ever-changing, state and federal regulations, compliance has been a real difficult thing because it really is ever-changing. It's something that you constantly have to take and improve upon every time, whether it be through your audits or other various things that go into making that. The Farm Bureau has the folks that understand what we need to do and implement those things so we get the benefit that we need to. The Farm Bureau is really good for taking a multi-pronged approach and getting your claims down. What they do is first deal with it is from a compliance issue. They come and do a walkthrough so you can make sure that your program is being used in the way that it should, so you reduce your accidents. Second to that, they make sure that your claims management is in process and working the way it should. That way it drives down your experience and increasing your refunds. The third part of that is they keep you educated, they keep you trained, they provide the materials, they do the workshops, they have the information on their website. It's very comprehensive, and all you need to do is just access it. You're a phone call away. Very kind, very helpful.
Ron Gonzalez is the president of Bluebird.
Well, the Farm Bureau has been a big help for us at the warehouse level, as well as our company orchards, and of course they also service our individual growers. But they've been a big help for worker safety, both in the orchard as well as at the warehouse level. They help us with mitigation issues. They help us with employee relationship issues when it comes to safety, and they help us with resolving problems that do arise as far as worker safety. I think one of the main attributes that the Farm Bureau does have is their staff. The staff is very engaging, very knowledgeable of our industry, very knowledgeable of the challenges of our industry. They're not afraid to jump in and work with us on different issues. They're not afraid to, so to speak, get their hands dirty in the sense of helping us through problems. They'll travel to where they need to go to help us as far as different locations that we have, and so I think the quality of the service is what really what makes Farm Bureau different than, say, some of the other organizations similar to Farm Bureau.
The DeGord Brothers is a wholesale grower in Sumner. They grow year-round flowers and plants, primarily for selling to florists and companies that retail potted bulbs, poinsettias, cut flowers, fuchsia baskets, and hanging gardens. They have 380,000 square feet of growing space in giant greenhouses. The DeGord Brothers immigrated from Holland in 1955. Besides the wholesale business, they have the Windmill Gardens, a retail facility. Brenda Ireland is the Human Resource Manager and in charge of safety for the growing operation.
With the information that we receive from the Farm Bureau, we're able to update our safety programs continuously, and our procedures are constantly being updated to provide a safer working environment. They're an integral part of my job, being human resources and safety, and I have learned so much from them, and their workshops are really informative and educational. Farm Bureau is wonderful. They're really easy to get a hold of. They're very proactive, working on L&I claims management. Really good about coming out whenever you need them for whatever you need them for. Just anytime you need anything to do with safety in any manner, they're right there for you.
Bert Haugen has been a dairyman for over 40 years, but for the last 6 years, on his farm in historic Buckley, Bert has specialized in operating an organic dairy. At the present time, he's milking about 160 organic cows. That means his cows have all been raised organically, fed only organic hay and grain, and treated holistically for any problems they may have. He doesn't use antibiotics.
We were inspected a year ago, and Rick came to the farm and was with me on the inspection, and inspection went well. It saved me lots of money. We had no violations that cost me a penny. We had a few small minor violations that Al and I let us fix within 24 hours, and other than that, we had no major violations. Thanks to Farm Bureau and Rick for leading us in the right direction, because we we would have had some major violations that we weren't aware of at the time because we didn't know what to expect. Rick's about the best there is. He's been pretty good. He came out and he actually used to work for L&I, so he knows the ropes.
Commercial Cold Storage in Mount Vernon processes and stores seafood of all kinds. It's been in business for over 31 years. Janice Scott is the Chief Financial Officer. She's been with Commercial Cold Storage since it was founded.
Business is not what it used to be when we started. Now there is so many more government regulations, and it's very hard for a company to keep up on all the different regulations coming at us. Through the retro program, each year we've been able to get a rebate check or a refund check, which more than covers the cost of our membership. So we have saved a lot of money on the side of labor and industries and lowered that cost. They also are extremely helpful in managing the claims that we have. They're able to navigate the system far better than we ever could. And they understand the process. We had an accident that was the employee had to spend the night at the hospital, and this triggered a compliance inspection. And they cited us on a couple things that we didn't feel were fair. And Rick from the Farm Bureau came up, he looked at what the problem was, and he worked with us. Oh, he spent hours and hours going through mediation with us, explaining everything. He was in on all the conversations we had with the judge. He was here when other inspectors came up to look, and he explained the process and what we could expect to have happen. And without him, I don't know how we would have managed that claim, but he was very, very helpful. Oh, I encourage anyone to join the Farm Bureau. I do not see a downside of being a Farm Bureau member.
Rick Gastelum is the safety director for the retro program of the Washington Farm Bureau. Before that, he worked for the Department of Labor and Industries.
Our job is to help them stay in business, be successful in business, make sure they have a safe workplace, share best practices about safety with them, things that we've learned over the years, things that we've seen other people in their industries do and put in place to create a safety culture. We then also get into claims management, talk to them about should somebody get hurt, here's the steps you need to take in order to make sure to effectively manage that claim, make sure your worker gets good care, and by doing that too, you're showing your workers that you care for them. And a lot of it has to do with controlling costs.
That's a quick view of the Washington Farm Bureau's Retro Safety Program. We invite you to join our Farm Bureau family. For more information, please call 1-800-331-3276.